In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the label tool to create labels that will help you with organizing and presenting your content inside of a Moodle site. Now, generally, we think of labels as something that labels another thing. But the label tool in Moodle is basically just a small block of HTML, that is the code that creates web pages, or the content inside of web pages, that can be placed in any location inside of a Moodle site. So in a sense, this is a label, but it's a special kind of label. It is the topic area name. We're going to add additional ones inside of a topic area. So I'm going to go to Add an Activity or Resource. I'm going to scroll down because it's a resource, and I'm going to choose Label and Add. Now, if you've used an HTML editor in a web environment before, this should look fairly familiar. By default, you have only a short list of editing tools here, but if I click on that, I get the full list of options. So perhaps all I really want is a subheading. So this subheading will be assignments, and I want to format it just a little bit so that it looks distinct from the text of the actual item. So I'm going to bold it a little bit. Now, I don't have time to go into a full lesson about web editors here, but do keep in mind that while changing font family and font size may appear to be similar to how you do it in word processing, it's really not, and you may find that it's a little frustrating to get a consistent font size even when you're choosing from this font size thing. You will get a consistent font size when you choose up here. However, these may or may not meet your current needs. I'm going to choose heading 4 right there. I could do other things as needed. I could add an image in, all sorts of stuff, but this is an example of a label where I really am just using it as a subheading. For labels, really ignore all of that. Save and return to course, and there's my label. Now, it popped it up down at the bottom. I can grab it and move it to where I need it to be. Maybe I need it, I start with some, maybe I want my syllabus up there in this topic area that never moves around. Perhaps this will be, course information. And then down here in week 1, what are their assignments going to be? I could have another one for what are their readings going to be, so on and so forth. But perhaps I want to use the label in order to place some actual content right here for them to see, whether that's an image or a link out to a YouTube video, or which will play automatically inside of Moodle, or at least show up and then hit the play button. Maybe I want a URL that just sits right there. When I come to add an activity or resource, of course, all of those things could be put in as a file or as a URL or something like that. But there's something about having them all live just right on there that may meet your needs in terms of course organization. So I'm going to show you an example of that. I'm going to come back here to Home, to this full list of courses here, and choose another course. I'm going to come down to this one right down here. So this is an example of a fully fleshed out course site in which a certain amount of formatting has been used to neaten up or make this a little easier for students to navigate. I'm going to stretch my screen out a little bit. Not that you can see all of it, and while I'm at it, turn off editing so that it looks a little bit more like what a student would see. So in this case, this is a label, and it's not only essentially a subheading that says, here on January 20th, this is what we're going to do. I'm also using text color in order to pull out an instruction that they need to stick to. Likewise, that is a label. Here I was just playing with showing you that you can have very large text if you feel like that's important, and a nice way to make some stuff even more visible that way. Let's see here. If I go to an even older course site, it looks like I don't have my even older course sites anymore. Just an important note, course sites don't always live forever. Let's see if I have labels in this one. A very similar approach. In this one, I didn't use a lot of extra text. It's just the dates to help me do that, and that little bit of additional information poked in. So that's labels, and they can be used quite extensively as desired. in order to place content directly inside of your Moodle home area right here in a topic area, or it can be used really as headings, truly as labels for the material that follows.